A developing battle for wood is pitting power companies against furniture makers. Channel 4 News has learned that subsidies aimed at tackling climate change by encouraging energy producers to burn wood and agricultural waste are actually helping to distort the market for timber. And as the country's largest power plant calls on the government to offer even more help, some manufacturers are warning they face being priced out altogether. Here's our science correspondent, Tom Clark.
This forest on the North Yorkshire moors escaped a government sell-off, but it can't escape the chop. There's an ever-increasing demand for sustainably grown British timber. And this isn't even the good stuff. It's a plantation of pine, planted by the Forestry Commission in the 1970s, and now it's time for the fast-growing softwood to be harvested. The choice cuts of this timber go to making fence posts and pallets. But surprisingly, the biggest growth in demand in recent years has been for the offcuts, the stuff that traditionally had little value at all. The woodland economy has shifted because of legally binding targets to tackle climate change. Government subsidy now rewards power companies for making electricity from burning trees. And this place can't get enough of them. The Drax plant near Selby is Britain's biggest coal-fired power station and single largest source of carbon emissions. But now it claims to be our largest source of renewable energy too. This new facility handles biomass, wood or farming leftovers like husks and straw. This is 30 tonnes of biomass pellets being fed directly into Drax's furnaces. Last year the plant got through 30,000 truckloads like this. But the plan for Britain's biggest power plant is to burn more of this stuff than they currently burn coal. Because for Drax, government climate change targets make a coal-fired future highly uncertain. If biomass is grown sustainably, so the argument goes, burning it doesn't add carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, and the plant can claim to be greener. The subsidy makes biomass affordable.
In December and January, the recent 2 months, between 8 and 10% of our fuel has been renewable. So it's making a big contribution today. It is cost effective, and our view is we could do an awful lot more if we had a little bit more help from the government, both in terms of support and in terms of long-term outlook.
But biomass incentives are already punishing other businesses. Just across the Pennines in Accrington is Britain's largest office furniture maker. They use lots of chipboard. It's made from the same waste wood Drax wants more subsidy to burn. They say increased demand has already put up their costs by a third.
Their subsidies are allowing them to take freshly felled wood and burn it, which is taking that out of the supply chain to us. We want the wood to come to us so we can make something positive out of it, use its life for 20 years before Drax and the people burn it to get the power back. The power is always there. We want to use the wood first.
As if to illustrate the point, this plant has been generating energy from its own leftover chipboard for 12 years. Rewarding companies to burn existing sources of virgin timber wasn't the purpose of the subsidy system, say analysts, especially if wood is being imported, which most biomass is.
The idea behind subsidising the burning of biomass in coal-fired power stations was to try and establish domestic growers, a domestic supply chain for wood. As yet, that hasn't happened. If that could be made to happen, then that would be a very good thing for biomass fuel, and it should also relieve the pressure on the furniture makers and other users of wood.
Drax Power insists its biomass is sustainably sourced. The government is now working on a code to ensure biomass meets strict low-carbon criteria. Local production is one of them. But as many as 30 new biomass plants are due to open across the country. Unless we start producing much more biomass at home, they might not just be bad for other businesses, but bad for the environment too.